Have you ever noticed how something can feel completely true to you, yet totally false to someone else? Interesting, isn't it? That's the power of belief. Let's explore why that happens and how understanding it can bring more harmony and compassion into your life. Welcome back. If you're new, I'm so glad you're here. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss a video. Enjoy! Just a brief programming note. This video is part of my TINAR series, TINAR. This is not about religion. Words like faith, belief, and source and others are explored through the lens of energy, not religion. Thank you. We often take our beliefs for granted. And when I say beliefs, I don't just mean religious or spiritual ideas. I'm talking about the everyday beliefs, whether they be assumptions, opinions, conclusions we carry around about life, people, health, relationships, success, everything. These beliefs guide our decisions and they shape our opinions and ultimately define what we think is true. But here's the thing. What you believe to be true might not be what someone else believes at all. Now, that might sound obvious, right? But it's actually the root cause of so much misunderstanding and conflict in our world, in relationships, in communities, and even across nations. We tend to think our truth is the truth. And when someone disagrees, we assume they must be wrong or confused or misinformed. But what if neither of you is wrong? What if both perspectives are simply shaped by different life experiences and different patterns of thought? A belief is really just a thought that you've practiced over and over and over and over again until it feels like a fact. Like a well-worn path in your mind. It feels comfortable. It feels familiar. It's automatic. The more you walk it, the more real it feels. But that doesn't necessarily make it an absolute truth. Now, truth in the universal sense may be unchanging, but our perception of truth, that changes all the time. For example, as a child, you wore a shoe that was size 3. That was true at a point in your life. But now, as an adult, that is no longer true. What feels true to one person may feel false to another based on their experiences, upbringing, and worldview. I have a story that proves that point exactly. So this happened many years ago. An acquaintance of mine, we had a long discussion about laser eye surgery. And she had done a lot of research and kept finding stories about complications and negative outcomes. So her belief, based on what she had read, told her to avoid the surgery. Now, I, on the other hand, I had also done my due diligence, but my research showed that complications were rare and most people had great results. So I moved forward and I had the surgery and it went beautifully. So my question to you, who was right? Well, we both were. And yet we both weren't. See, each of us filtered the information through the lens of our existing beliefs. Her belief told her to be cautious. That might be dangerous. But mine told me to trust the process. And both beliefs were true for us because our minds had accepted them as reality. You see, what works for one person may not work for another. And that's okay. It doesn't mean either person is wrong or dishonest. It simply means each person's reality is shaped by the beliefs and experiences they carry. This idea can feel unsettling at first because we're taught that truth is universal, that there's only one right answer. But in most areas of life, relationships, health, personal growth, there is no single answer. And that's why two experts can swear by completely opposite results, and both sound convincing. This often happens in court cases. Each side brings in their own experts, each one seeing the situation through the filter of their own belief system. Our brains are wired to look for evidence that supports what we already believe. Psychologists call this confirmation bias. It's like when you buy a certain car and suddenly you start seeing that same car everywhere. You notice what your mind is now tuned to. The same thing happens with beliefs. Once your mind accepts something as true, it gathers proof to reinforce it. So now, what do we do with all of this? First, we free ourselves from judgment. When you recognize that everyone is operating from their own belief system, one that has served them in some way through their life, you stop labeling them as wrong. Instead, you can say, that's their truth. It makes sense from where they stand. Second, it encourages empathy. When you truly understand that another person's belief is simply a reflection of their experience, you listen differently. You don't have to agree, but you can understand. There's a huge difference, and that's huge. You can say, oh, your experience was completely different from mine. And then the two of you, or however many, can engage in a real conversation instead of arguing about who's right and who's wrong. Thirdly, it gives you flexibility. When you see your beliefs as habits of thought rather than unchangeable truths, you gain freedom. You can ask yourself, does this belief still serve me? Is it aligned with who I am becoming? Some beliefs were useful once, but no longer fit the person you are today. And that's the way it is supposed to be because we are always growing, elevating. Growth means allowing your beliefs to evolve as you do. Think about how much has changed in the last few decades. The technology, communication, the health, society. Everything keeps moving forward. Some people adapt easily. Others cling to old patterns because they still believe the old way is the only way. But life teaches us again and again that change is constant and that adaptability brings peace. So take a moment to reflect. Think of something you strongly believe about anything, about work, relationships, or just life in general. Then ask yourself, is this still true for me? Does this belief help me grow? Or is it something I've carried forward without question? When you begin asking these questions, you open the door to transformation. You stop trying to convince others to see life through your lens. And you start appreciating the beauty of multiple perspectives. The world becomes more compassionate, and so do you. So beliefs are just thoughts you've practiced until they feel real. They're not set in stone, and they don't always apply to everyone else. Understanding this makes your mind more open, your heart softer, and your relationship stronger. So the next time someone says, "This is the truth," take a deep breath and ask yourself, is it the truth or their truth? Chances are it's their truth. And be okay with that. Blessings to all of you. Thank you. Bye. Hey, I really appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. If something in today's message spoke to you and you're ready to make lasting changes in your life, I'd love to connect with you. You can book a complimentary discovery call at sunnytlc.com or just email me directly. My email is sunny@sunnytlc.com. Let's see if we can work together in creating the life you truly desire. Because remember, the power is within you. Until next time, peace, love, and blessings.